Day 1. Today we will study other writers and incorporate what we learn from them into our own writing. What that means is that we are going to be reading another writer's work and we're going to see all of the awesome strategies that they use in their writing and how we can add it into our own writing to make our writing stronger, more convincing, and more interesting. Let's take a look at this one student's writing and study her writing structure, voice, word choice, and craft. Here you can see a letter that Lily wrote to Melanie. Lily saw a problem that was happening at school and she wanted to fix it, and so she wrote a letter directly to Melanie. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading Lily's letter. You guys can follow along. Dear Melanie, did you know that kids are being too noisy on the stairs? It is a big problem. Some kids talk with inside voices. Other kids talk really loud. It's a problem because one day Bob was right next to me and he was yelling very loud. And when Miss Liz said a quiet signal, I could not hear her and I was not looking at her. It is bad. Maybe we can remind the kids to not yell by putting a sign on the wall on every staircase. It would be good for a lot of the first grade classes, so when the teachers do a quiet signal, they can hear the teacher so they can talk. Thank you, from Lily. Let's go ahead and take a look at her writing again really quickly. And I want you guys to think, what were some of the good things that Lily did in her writing? What were some of the awesome strategies that Lily did? So, one of the strategies that I noticed that Lily did was that she used the word because. The word because allowed her to expand more on her ideas. She was able to give a reason and explain about it. So here I'll go ahead and read the sentence that she had the word because in. It's a problem because one day Bob was right next to me and he was yelling very loud, and when Miss Liz said a quiet signal, I could not hear her. So I'm noticing that when Lily used the word because, she was able to explain more about why kids being noisy was a big problem. It's because she couldn't hear her teacher. So using the word because allowed her to expand more on her ideas. So maybe that could be a strategy that you guys can use in your writing. So here is a poster of all of the awesome strategies that you guys can do to make sure you guys are really convincing. Remember, we can be really convincing, and these are awesome strategies and ideas that you guys can do to incorporate into your own writing. So one of them is tell your opinion, saying I think. So telling people opinion means telling people what you think and what is important to you. The second one is tell a little story. As you can tell, back in Lily's letter, Lily told a little story about what's happening with Bob, about how Bob was being very noisy and it makes it difficult for her to listen to the instructions in school. So you guys can tell a little story and explaining why that's important to you. The third one is give lots of reasons, making sure you're giving reason number 1, reason number 2, reason number 3. You want to be as convincing as possible, so you need to provide a lot of reasons. Why should they listen to you? And another one is give a fix-it idea. That means you want to also be able to help them solve the problem. So give them a suggestion on how we can solve the problem. If you guys remembered, back in Lily's story, she also gave a fix-it idea. So with her story, when kids were being loud, and that was the big problem that she was trying to write about, is that she gave a fix-it idea. She said maybe we can put a sign on the wall on every staircase and remind the kids to not yell. So she gave an awesome fix-it strategy. That's what you guys can do as well. Another one is making sure you guys are being polite, saying please and thank you. Because if you notice in her writing the entire time, Lily was not being angry or being mad. She was being very polite. She's telling people exactly what she thinks is important. She's giving them the reasons, giving them a story. And at the end, she even said thank you. So that's some of the awesome strategies that you guys can use to be very convincing. So using one of these strategies that I mentioned earlier, you guys can incorporate it into your own writing. So using one of these strategies, go ahead and incorporate it into your own writing. Take a look. Think about it. Add one strategy into your writing and keep adding more and more to make your writing more interesting and convincing. You want to make it strong.